Well, the Brentwood War Eagles made it to the GISA 2A finals last season. They've actually made the playoffs every year since 2000, which happens to be the year Coach Bert Brown took over. He sat down with our Bill Shanks in the Coach's Corner.
We are with Coach Bert Brown from Brentwood in his 22nd season as the head coach. And Coach, last year, 9-3, a very good season. You lost to Gatewood in the finals, but what were your thoughts on a season that you had a lot of good players on that team last year, didn't you?
No doubt about it, Bill. And certainly the loss to Gatewood in the finals there was disappointing. We had some miscues in the kicking game early, and we intercepted a couple of fourth down passes deep in our own territory, which gave us very unfavorable field positions. It was a disappointing afternoon, but once the season ended and a little time passed, I think we were all able to sit back and realize how many good things we did accomplish last year. 9-3, in the year of COVID, where there was so much uncertainty all summer long about whether we would even have a season or not. And then week to week, were we going to play every Friday night? So I thought our kids handled all that about as well as could be expected.
Your offense was very explosive last year, almost 38 points per game, but you have lost a lot of players from that group. The quarterback, McKinley Newton, who was a 3-year starter, Ford Shepard, Ben Tarbutton. You've got a lot of offensive linemen to replace, Coach. That can be good and bad if you got players ready to step up. But what are your thoughts now heading into the summer practices about your offense and all the talent you have to replace?
Right. Well, that's the fun part, for us as coaches, is the challenge of rebuilding or replacing pieces of the puzzle that you find missing. A lot of yards and a lot of points graduated. But the good thing, Bill, when you average 38 points a game last year, we had a lot of games where the game was decided early or mid third quarter, a couple of them even by halftime. So we've got a lot of kids that are sophomores and juniors now who got a lot of Friday night minutes last year. They got a lot of good, valuable game experience, which is, in our situation, is so much better than anything we can simulate on the practice field when you've only got between 25 and 30 kids year in and year out. So, again, a lot of guys got a lot of minutes last year. So we're not as far behind as I thought we might have been after a couple of days of practice.
All right. We'll see what those competitions in the next couple of weeks will bring for you. First game on August 27th against John Millage. We will talk about the Brentwood defense coming up in our next report. Back with Coach Bert Brown from Brentwood in Sandersville. And Coach, your defense last year, very solid, allowed only 16.4 points per game. You got to replace a lot of players as you do on offense, but it sounds like, particularly at linebacker, you've got some players who could really step up for you and be the key to your defense.
Got both of our starting inside linebackers back from a year ago, a pair of rising seniors in Jackson Collins and Drew Johnson. We also had another young man that played a lot at the inside linebacker spot last year, Robert Jackson, who was a wingback on offense, rotated in at linebacker, but we're experimenting with Robert at quarterback right now because of his solid throwing arm. And if Robert plays a lot of defense, we hope we can move him back into the secondary. So we feel real good about our inside linebacker position. We've also got one of our outside linebackers, rising senior Thomas Denton, who was all-state player last year. Thomas is 6'2", weighs about 215. He can run, and he's a physical player, one of the better all-around players in our league. So we feel good about him, and we've got a couple of kids back in the secondary, Wells Mueller and Will Wright, who were starters there a year ago. So we've got some holes to plug in, but we've also got some good players returning. And like I mentioned, offensively, we've got a lot of kids who played a lot of minutes last year, and the game experience is, as anybody will tell you, is just invaluable.
Well, it sounds like you got some exciting young players to take over for some very good players you lost from last year's 9-3 team. Coach, can't wait to see what you do with the first game on August the 27th against JT Wall and John Millage. That ought to be fun.
Yeah. Coach Wall has done a terrific job there over the last 10 plus years. He tells me that they're going to be down a little bit, but I take that with a grain of salt. But it'll be a big crowd over here in Sandersville on the 27th. Hopefully we'll have decent weather. It won't be too terribly hot, and we'll tee it up. Bill, I always say playing people like that makes you better down the road.
Oh, it's great football, Coach. Great football. Hey, always appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Good luck to you this year.
Okay, thanks, Bill.